assistant in the Lifespan Social Cognition Lab here at WKU. My research is on the lexical activation of discrete emotions in younger and older adults. So the object of this study is to learn about how discrete negative emotional concepts change over time. Aging is associated with a lifetime orientation and a tendency to focus on positive over negative emotion in one's environment. This shift in focus can lead to a noticeable difference in patterns of lexical activation. This is where the positivity bias comes in. This is the belief that later in life, older adults have more of a positivity bias. With less days of their life, they have gained more emotional regulation skills, which are a skill set that help us stay consistently happy. This was found in Linchard and Ranvansky's 2012 paper, which we have adapted to make our study. So our question is, does positivity bias make these older adults less apt to perceive differences in negative emotions, and specifically the discrete negative emotions of anger and disgust? Some emotions are more easily confused than others. For instance, anger and disgust are more easily confused than fear and disgust, which is why we focus on anger and disgust in our study. This study uses a lexical decision task to look at the activation of emotions in younger and older adults. Your lexicon is your personal mental dictionary of what words mean to you. This is also the organization of emotional concepts. We measure this by using a lexical decision task, which draws on the organization and understanding of concepts in your mental dictionary. The hope of this is that a participant will respond faster to the words they are primed to. Priming activates different parts of people's specific lexicons. In this study, we primed participants to respond fastest to either anger words, disgust words, or happy words. Here is the outline of our protocol. It is ran completely online using Amazon's Mechanical Turk and WKU's Study Board. We used mTurk to collect older adult data and Study Board to collect younger adult data. The demographics questionnaire and method induction were ran through Qualtrics. The lexical decision task, the positive and negative affect scale, and the cognitive battery tests were ran on SciToolkit. We start with the demographics questionnaire. We ensure that all of our participants were in the correct age range, either younger or older adult, respectively. And we also ensure that our participants are an accurate representation of the United States population. Then they move on to a mood induction. Qualtrics randomly assigns them to one of three experimental conditions, which would be either writing about an experience of happiness, anger, or disgust. This is where we induce the mood before the lexical decision task. This is an effective induction because it draws upon personal experience rather than trying to create an emotion within somebody. They get to draw upon this personally and reflect on that. Then they move on to the lexical decision task. They start with 12 practice trials to get a feel and understanding for what they're about to complete. And then they move on to 2 blocks of the actual experiment itself, which we'll go back and talk about in later detail. Then they go to the positive and negative affect scale. We use this PANIS rating to ensure that the mood induction was sustained throughout the whole lexical decision task and that they effectively drew upon that emotion. Then they do 2 cognitive battery tests. This is the advanced vocabulary test and the flanker test. These are to ensure that all of our participants are in the same cognitive range and that they are all able to perform our task effectively. So these are some actual word examples we use in our lexical decision task. They were developed similarly to the way Parrott et al. Did in their 2005 paper. As you see here, we have 3 different categories of emotional words, and then we have also neutral words and non-words. In total, there are 90 real words and 90 non-words. The real words are broken down into 4 different categories, and that would be anger, disgust, happy, and neutral words. So, for example, we see the anger words here. So, annoyance would be the example of an anger word, matched with announce, which is similar in length and sound. From there, we change 1 letter out of each word to make the non-words. So they look very similar to real words that the participant is seeing, but they do require cognitive focus on the task, keeping participants engaged. So when a participant sees a real word, they are instructed to hit the W key. When they see a non-word, they are instructed to hit the N key. From this, we record the reaction time and also the correct and incorrect responses. From there, we did analysis on this. So from the data collected, we did some analysis of variance, which you can see in the top left. There is an analysis of variance by probe type, and in the top right, an analysis of variance by narrative condition, where we see significant interaction by age. And then at the bottom, you can see the PANIS and type of emotion interaction. And here we see a similar pattern across younger and older adults. So here are conclusions from the data. People respond faster to happy words regardless of condition, and longer to discuss words regardless of condition. We see that people are responding faster to happy words because of the approach to these words. They are more motivated to respond to happy words, and we see this within the positivity bias. Reasons why they could be taking the longest to respond to the discussed words could be avoidance of it and also confusion of the emotion. So disgust likely takes longer for all probe types, regardless of age, because it is a more complex emotion and it takes longer processing, and people want to avoid rather than approach this. So we see both approach and avoidance of emotions within this study. Everyone takes the longest to respond to discuss regardless of age type. So throughout all of these conditions, we see that the pattern of responding does not change as an age of function, which is very interesting considering the previous research has seen that there has been significant interactions between the different groups and age as a function. So here we do not see a positivity bias in only older adults, but also younger adults. We found this to be a great thing because this means that younger adults are also using emotional regulation to create a positivity bias. As far as future implications, we have found contradictory information than previous research that has said that older adults possess the positivity bias while we see it in younger and older adults. This means that there is more research to be done in this area. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at victoria.pope72@gmail.com or reach out to Dr. Imsky in the Lifespan Social Cognition Lab. Thank you all.